thank you all for attending. Today's session is going to be on the Panasonic Ductless, the new R-32 units that are coming out. So it's going to be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be led by Jay and Paulo from Panasonic. If anybody has any questions at any point, you can always type in the chat box. If you got a burning question, you can unmute yourself and ask. Just otherwise, keep yourselves muted and your cameras turned off. And I think with that, I'll hand it over to Jay so we can begin the training session.
All right, thank you. So welcome everyone for this training session. My name is Jay, and we'll be talking about the new Panasonic unit for the ductless using the R-32 refrigerant. So the way how we will proceed is that we'll start with the single zone for now, and then I will hand over to Paulo. He will do the multi-zone. So that being said, let's get started. So I hope everyone can see the screen properly. If not, you just let me know and we'll see. All right. So we'll start with the product lineup with two different models. This meeting is being recorded. Sorry about that. Yes. So here we have the previous model, which were starting by CSXE and E series, have been replaced by CSXZ, XZ, and CSZ. And that goes from 9 kilo BTU up to 24K BTUs. So we have the flagship and the regular model. So two different models with some more feature on the flagship, which is the top of the line model. On the outdoor units, we have the CU2 and 3E1, which has been replaced by CU2Z1. So CU2Z and star and CU3Z. So we have to note that here we have only 2 and 3 zone available for the outdoor unit. On the multi-zone, just the 2 and 3 zone for now. Later on, maybe more, but for now, just we have only two units. So this is an overview of the indoor unit. So the flagship model, so the CSXZ9K and 1215K have the same dimension, and the 18K and 24K has a bigger, the dimension have changed as a bigger one. It's not only on the width, but overall, the depth also has changed. We have a new remote control and also a new more sleeker than the previous controller, wall controller. So before we used to have the wired remote control, the wired controller was CZRD516. Now it's a 517. See, so it has upgraded from 16 to 17. So this is the newer model, and it has. So we'll go through all the features. For now, we can overview this. There is an inside cleaning, the self-cleaning, the Nano X generator, which has been upgraded, the humidity sensor with the dry mode, It's more powerful and easy installation service. So we'll go through all those details now for this unit. This one is the regular model, the standard one. So what makes the difference between this one and the other one is just not only the size and the capacity, but also it doesn't have the Nano X and the Wi-Fi built in compared to the flagship model. So we'll go with some specification here. That is for the flagship on the cooling mode. So these values have been taken from the lab test, and these are the real values. So for this model, for example, the XE9 series and the new XZ9, we can see on the last column, the max from 12,000 BTU, we are going to 12,600 BTUs. So there is an increase on the cooling mode. On the XE12, same thing, from 14,000, we are going to 16,100. So we have a bigger output. Now on the 15 series and 18 series, from 19, we are going to 19,300, and from 19,800, we are going to 22,200. That is a big jump on the XZ18. That is on the cooling side still. And this is the last one. Not much difference. It's the same, 27,200 and 27,200. So now let's talk about the heating side. The specification for the heating, same thing. There is a jump from 18 to 19,900, almost 20,000. A big jump for the XZ9, the 9K. For the 12K, a little jump, 23,000 to 23,600 on the heating side still. On the 15K, we're having a pretty much big jump, also 24K to 25,200, 1,200 more BTUs. And on the 18 series, just 400 more. So we'll talk about the dimension now. For the outdoor units, which is supporting the 9K and the 12K. The pipe size, the piping size is 3/8 and 1/4, with the maximum length 24.5 feet, and that is the pipe length when we are adding gas beyond that value. But the maximum piping length is 65.6. And as you can see, the sizing about the height, width, and depth are given here for that unit, that external unit. Now, the other external unit is for the 15K. It's a little bit bigger, and the piping size is 1/2 and 1/4. And the last one is for the 18 and 24K. For the 18K is still 1/2 and 1/4. For the 24K, 5/8 and 1/4 for the piping size. And the unit is a bit bigger than the others. So these are the 3 outdoor units. For the indoor unit, so we have two sizes. One is for the 9 up to 12 up to 15K. So this gives you the dimension. It's pretty much the same as the previous one, but the change is coming with the next one, which is the 18 to 24K. It's more wider and more depth, and even the height is a little bit bigger compared to the. Sorry, it's smaller. The 302 millimeters, almost the same, but it's much more wider than the regular one, which are the 9 to 15K. On the wiring diagram, it's almost the same for the outdoor unit, except that it has a base pan heater now. So this is the new things that you can see at the bottom left, the base pan heater. The remaining is pretty much the same. Did not change. Now with the new refrigerant, we have a cap, which is a red cap, which is mandatory. So this brass cap has been replaced with this red cap. And when you see a red cap, that means for sure it's a R-32 refrigerant inside. So the highlights. So for the flagship series, we'll go through a few things. The NanoX technology, which has a new generator. The Wi-Fi connectivity, which is more easier. The easy installation for the servicing. The self-cleaning feature. The backlight for the remote control. And the dry humidity control. So we'll go more in deep on all these points. So starting by the remote controller. So it has the backlight. So in case of the nighttime, everything is dark and you don't have any light. So you just press any of the button, it will light up the LCD screen, and then it makes easy to navigate through the settings. And for the controller, the wall controller, it's more sleeker. It has just a new design, more easy, more intuitive to enter, to navigate through the menus. And the size is sleeker. And the reference, the model number is CZ-RD517. And it used to be RD516 previously in the previous models, the older models. Now the humidity control. So we'll go with a short video.
What is humidity? Humidity is the proportion of water in the air. Have you ever felt damp and uncomfortable when you wake up in the morning? In fact, the humidity is related to the perceived temperature. The perceived temperature is recorded using a thermal imaging camera that can detect the temperature on the body surface. When the humidity is as high as 88%, the perceived temperature rises and you feel hot. If the humidity is high, the moisture in the air increases. Sweat on the skin will not evaporate, nor will the body temperature be well regulated. On the contrary, even if the temperature is the same, when the humidity drops to 60%, the sensible temperature will drop. If humidity is low, water is released from the body surface into the air, and the sweat takes away heat when it evaporates, making it easier to regulate the body temperature. As mentioned above, at the same temperature, perceived temperature will change as the humidity changes. When the humidity is high, you will feel hot, and when it is low, you will feel cool. Balancing temperature and humidity in the room simultaneously will make you feel comfortable. Balance between temperature and humidity is one of the factors contributing to body comfort.
Panasonic.
All right, so as you have seen in this little video, the comfort zone is whenever the humidity level is below 60%. Whatever the temperature between 23.5 all the way to 28 degrees, that is the comfort zone. But most of the time, the humidity level is higher than 60 degree. Sorry, 60%, even in a dry mode. So that being said, we have introduced a sensor in this new model. It's a humidity sensor. And it takes control of the humidity in the air to bring it back lower than 60%. Actually, it brings about around at 55%, where the body feels more comfortable. And it should be usually below 60%. So that is a specific feature. If we use only the dry mode, the humidity will remain at 60% or more. But if we use the dry mode with the humidity sensor, it will bring back the humidity below 55% or around 55%. And the way to activate this is by selecting the dry mode and having the fan selected in auto mode. The fan speed should be in auto mode and the dry mode activated. That will take care of the humidity sensor. It will activate the humidity sensor. And as you know, when is it useful? When there is a humidity in the room, in the rainy days, and there is a damp smell in the room, or some area with high humidity. It is very useful to protect the household. Huh? That being said, this is not a dehumidifier. It is just controlling the humidity, not to be confused with a dehumidifier. So here we have a curve that we can see on the right bottom. The red curve is when we are using just the dry mode, and as you can see, it is always above the 60% of humidity. It controls above the humidity, so it's not enough for a better control, for a better comfort. It should be at least below 60%, and using this humidity control, humidity sensor, I mean, it brings, as you can see, that blue curve, it brings below the line of 55%, which makes the room very comfortable and breathable, and you name it. So now there is a trick. If there is a sensor, this humidity sensor is located on the right side at the bottom, as you can see on this picture inside. And it's part of the PCB board, which has the indicators. So if it goes faulty, there is no error code generated. So how do we know if something is faulty? So actually, we will not know. The users who uses this mode the dry plus humidity sensor, will perceive that humidity has increased. Then if it goes beyond 60%, by default, whenever it is faulty, the humidity, the PCB controller will bring back the humidity, the dry mode into 60% of humidity, the relative humidity. So you may have a complaint from users that it's not the humidity level is still high and it doesn't work. Then you will come to know that maybe the sensor is faulty because there is no error code generated for this. So that is how we can know that the humidity sensor is not working. The next feature is the inside cleaning. So as you know, the head over time becomes dirty in the sense of, yes, there could be dust, there could be mold, it's wet, and there is a self-cleaning mode available with this new system. So this new, the self-cleaning mode, it takes about 2.5 hours. We have to switch off the unit and then activate the inside cleaning by pressing the Nano X button on the remote control or through the app, the smartphone app. So what it does, basically, it will heat up the fin to dry all the wet things and dry up all the molds and everything. Then after half an hour, during 2 more hours, the Nano X will get activated. Once it is activated, it will kill all the mold, all the virus, and everything which is dirty will get killed. So this is and it will last about 2 hours. This self-cleaning. Once a month is a must, or twice every 2 weeks. It's good to go. The squirrel fan, which we call it the cross flow fan, it has a specific special coating now. This coating is preventing the dust accumulation as much as possible, not 100%, of course, but as much as possible. So you will have less dust accumulated into that fan, that squirrel fan, I mean. Now, the Nano X. So this is a new generator. Nano X is 100 times more powerful than what was existing in the previous model. So the Mark I was generating 4.8 trillion hydroxyl radicals contained in the water. Now the latest one is 48 trillion, is 100 times more. So it will quickly fill out all the room in no time. And that helps killing the dust and germs and everything. Yeah? It's very, very powerful. The bacteria, mold, viruses, everything get killed with this Nano X generator. So as we can see here, it is either that self-cleaning is activated through the remote control or through the app. And you see the cross flow fan at the bottom right. So this is without the coating on the left, and on the right side is with the coating, the new treatment that has been done to this fan. So we'll see a little video here.
Panasonic.
All right, so as you have seen, the efficiency of the Nano X is pretty incredible. So now we'll go through the built-in network adapter, the Wi-Fi, for the flagship model. So we have two QR code at the outside on the head. So the first one just allows you to connect to the App Store or Google Play just to download the app for your smartphone. Once it is downloaded, you can launch, register, and use the second scan code, the QR code, to register that head into your smartphone. So it is pretty straightforward and easy to connect that head to the smartphone to make the connection. It has a built-in Wi-Fi. So let's see.
Panasonic.
All right. So just to end up with the Wi-Fi, we still use a 2.4 gig on the Wi-Fi, and the 5G is not supported. Okay, so you make sure that your router is using a 2.4 gig. Now, as part of the servicing, so and the installation, so we have a stronger backplate. The thickness is better and a very strong backplate compared to the previous model, the old one. The cover, there is a slider lock. There are 3 sliders lock on top of the unit, and it allows you to remove all the cover easily. That slider just locks it, then you just open it, and you can remove the entire cover, which is a 1 block cover, very easily. It has a larger working space for the piping in the middle. And for the installation, for the uneven wall, there are 2 more screws that you can add. I will show you in a different slide. For the wiring, there is an opening, a wide opening that makes you easy to bring in the wire, the electrical wiring. And there is a holder also that allows you to lift off the wall the entire unit just for working purpose. So here it is, the slide. So you just slides and you can remove the cover very easily for servicing or dismantling. For the control board, we'll see in a different slide. It is very easy. There is a cover which is on top of it. And we can remove these covers very easily and remove the PCB board in case we have to change the PCB board. And this cover there are two separate covers, like one for the electrical parts and the other one is for the PCB board. So here it is, the plate. So it is a very stronger plate compared to the previous generation. The thickness is better. And as you can see at the bottom, the two red circles that allows you to place two more screws in case of uneven wall. And it will hold the unit in a better way in case there is a need. But the screws are not provided. This is just in case if you want to add two more screws, then this is possible. These are the size also. This one is for the bigger unit, so two size. One is the wide is 633, the other one is 748. These are the screw holder that I was talking about in case of uneven wall. Yeah. So before it was not easy. It was like a clip just to open the cover. Now it's just lock and unlock. It's just a sliding things. You can, there is a slider, you just slide and pull the cover entirely. And as you notice, the cover is covering the entire system, the entire head. And previously we had the two separate, the cover was not covering on the side fully the unit. Now it's fully covered. And also the space for the piping and the working space has increased from 100 to 160 millimeter. We have also a support in orange color here that allows you to lift off the wall the unit and allowing you to work hands-free easily. These are the metal cover. So the current model, the old one, has one cover like this, but the PCB board was behind all the electrical wiring, the terminal board. So now it is completely separated. So you have in one end on the left side the electrical part, and the other side is the PCB board. So if you want to change a PCB board, you just remove that that metal plate, that metal cover on the PCB board, and slide out very easily, very easy to maintain. The cross flow fan squirrel, easy to remove. We have only one screw here. It has a bigger diameter, 105 now. The Nano X on the old model was on the left side, as you can see on this picture. Now it has shifted to the right side here. Actually, we don't see it, but yes, so this is the Nano X on the right side. This is how it is, the inside of the Nano X. It's the module. So now let's talk about the fireplace. This is a new feature. So whenever you have an external heat source, for example, a fireplace or an electric heater, something like an external heat source, and your head is sitting up there close to the heat source, it will detect the room temperature increasing, and previously it was stopping the fan because the set temperatures was reached, and it was reached pretty quickly because of the fireplace in the room, this external heat. Now, this new feature, which is the fireplace feature, what it does is the fan will continue to blow permanently, even though the external compressor is stopped. It will continue to run and run, and it will provide a better heat distribution throughout the room. You will have a better control of the temperature, will be better. So this feature is the fireplace feature. And the fireplace feature is just can be activated through the remote control. Now we'll talk about the connectivity, how to set up the Wi-Fi. So we'll go through this little video.
Panasonic.
All right, so this was the setup of the Wi-Fi and the registration of the unit onto your smartphone app. Now, whatever is left is just a few information on how to configure, but we'll go through it. We won't go through it. It's just whatever you have seen in the video is. Yeah. So basically, this concludes our first part, which is the single zone unit. If you have any questions, you're free to ask through the chat. And my colleague Paolo will take over with the remaining, which is the multi-zone units. Thank you.
Upload the multi-zone, please.
Hey, Jay, quick question. When do we expect these units to be available in Canada?
So they're already here. I don't know if we are ready to sell. I don't know about that part. You will have to check with your sales guys, but they have already arrived. They have arrived, in fact, this week.
The multi, just one second. But I have to share first.
You have to stop sharing first.
It's done. The previous is done.
Salesperson for Peterborough. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Good afternoon. Paulo here from Panasonic. Thank you, Jay, for your single zone training. I don't know if most of you guys who have done Panasonic, there was not much to talk about the single zones, and also there will not be much to talk about multi-zones, because technically we have added a few features, and that's what we were talking about. We were not doing something like starting from scratch. But if you have any questions as we progress, no problem. Just throw it in the chat there. And my colleagues Jay and Andrea are here, stand by to answer any questions you have, okay? Keep in mind, there are no stupid questions, but there are stupid mistakes. So any question is a good question, okay, guys? Okay, so we finished our single zone. Now we are moving into multi-zone. And the multi-zone that we will be selling is going to be the same 2, 3, 4, and 5 zones. Okay, we'll talk about outdoor unit connection, self-diagnosis, and the wiring. Obviously, the difference between the old and the new: the old used to shut off at minus 26 degrees Celsius. The new will not shut off; it will continuously operate. However, it's good only down to minus 26. Having said that, good to down to minus 26 does not mean that you're going to get full capacity, 100% capacity. No. As the temperature drops, as you all know, being in the trade for many, many years, as the temperature drops, the capacity drops. So that's the difference between the old and the new multi-zone. No cutoff, and it operates down to minus 26. R-32 refrigerant. Obviously, the old one did not have a baseband heater. The new one does have. So that's a pretty good North American system that can work from coast to coast to coast with no issues whatsoever. As you can see here, what I just mentioned about the operation, we are good down to minus 26. There will be no cutoff like before. And in cooling, they will be cut off at minus 12. The older models would work down to minus 10. The new ones will work down to minus 12. Having said that, please do not install them in a computer room. Okay. If you want to run them down to minus 10 in a regular room just for regular cooling, that's okay. But we don't have equipment, or we don't have units designed for computer rooms. So as you can see at the top right, product highlights, R-32 gas is the new gas that we are going to be using moving forward. Freeze protection, we have a baseband heater, and the COP at minus 15 is 2.17, pretty good, pretty efficient. Not available. So somebody has asked a question. Jay or Andre is going to answer you in the chat. We don't have 115, 110 units. So as you can see, the 2-room, which is the 2-zone, the cooling capacity is at 7,200 all the way to 25,600. The 3-room is 7,000 minimum, 30,000 maximum. Okay. The 4 and the 5 zones have not been released. We are anticipating it anytime after November this year. After November this year, I could be wrong in terms of maybe earlier or maybe later. But what the factory is telling us, expect any time in December. Okay. And for heating capacity, we got pretty good numbers there. 5,800 being minimum, all the way to 29,800. 5,500 as being minimum, to 34,200 in the 3-zone. We will update you when we get the 4-zone and the 5-zone. The beauty about this multi-zone is you can use the Nano X unit and the non-Nano X unit. They are interchangeable. You can mix and match whichever way you want to go. So please keep that in mind, okay? The copper pipe sizes are the same, 3/8 and 1/4 inch. Maximum pipe length for the 2-zone is 164. Keep in mind the unit is only charged for 98.4 ounces. For 98.4 feet. And then after 98.4 feet, you need to add 0.2 ounces every feet. And for the 3-zone, same pipe size like before, like the older units. If you had done our older multi-zone, I hope you had used 3/8 and 1/4 and not based on the size of the indoor unit. Okay, you should not be piping these units based on the size of the indoor units. You will be piping them based on the size of the outdoor unit. Okay, and then when you get to the indoor unit, use an adapter for the 12,000, for the 18,000, 15,000, and obviously 24,000. So as you can see, at the very bottom, the pipe size reducer, we don't sell that product anymore. So you got to get it locally from United Refrigeration, Nordics, or Woozley, or any refrigeration air conditioning supplier. They do sell these adapters. I myself, I go and buy, we go and buy it from United. I'm not trying to promote United, but you can get it from any supplier, okay? And you will definitely need these adapters for an 18,000, for a 15,000, and for 24,000. I don't like putting 18 and 24 in a multi-zone application, but if you have to, you can go ahead and do that, but that's not my cup of tea. So as you can see here, capacity range of connectable indoor units is 4.5 kilowatts to 9.5 kilowatts. So if you want to convert that to BTU per hour, it's 3,142, if I'm not mistaken, or 3,412. I could be wrong. It could be the other way around. But anyway, please remember, when you're doing a multi-zone, always respect minimum and maximum capacity. If you put less than required, you will get an error of H12. And if you put more than required, you will get an H12 as well. And if you want to know what is H12, download the app, please. It's very handy. It's very, very helpful. If you're working on a weekend and you're stuck and you don't know where to call tech support, that app will be super, super helpful. So please download the app. My colleagues will put it on the chat, what it's called. Download it, please. It's really, really helpful. Most of the time when you guys call us, we use the app to help you guys out. So as you can see there, we have 5,000 indoor unit, 7,000 indoor units. That can only be used in a multi-zone application. There is no single zones for 5 and 7. Single zone starts at 9, 12, 15, and 18. And multi-zones, you can use 5, 7, all the way to 24. It's up to you, really. And this page, as you can see, we are going to share this with you at the end of the session. My colleagues will send Nordics the link so that you can, so Nordics can share with you guys to download. And it's really, really helpful. Make sure you go through it. The more you go through it, the less headache you get and the less problems you get, okay? So as you can see on the left-hand side is our old 19,000 BTU unit. And on the right-hand side is our new model R-32 system. Dimensions are almost the same. Capacity, did they wait to take this out? This, sorry, just trying to get rid of this. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, there was something blocking my capacities. Anyway, as you can see, cooling capacity, rated capacity minimum 19,000, the old model 6,100 to 24. Now we got same minimum, but look at the maximum. It's gone up to 26,000 BTU. That's pretty impressive. And if you look at the heating capacity, even more impressive, we have 29,000 now versus 28,400 in the past. So that's pretty cool. At minus 15 degrees Celsius outdoor temperature, we have 22,200 BTUs. That's pretty cool on a three zone. So keep that in mind, guys, especially when you're designing a home and you want to put you are sizing a home and you want to put a bunch of heat pumps. This is where you need to go. And again, if you have any questions, obviously you will have questions down the road. Send us an email through Nordics, and we will be able to help you out accomplish your project. Look at the COPs. The old one, the old model was 1.88. The new one at minus 15 is 2.17. Any COPs above 2 also do qualify for any rebates in the future. So keep that in mind again. What you see here is a pretty straightforward, a standard refrigeration cycle. This is a multi-zone, a two-zone multi-zone. As you can see, the compressor at the bottom, a bunch of sensors we have, gas pipe, gas pipe, gas pipe. We have defrost sensors. We have ambient sensors, and then we have a bunch of mufflers, mufflers for sound absorbing, as well as strainers. So that is why we always insist, please do not use filter dryers. The reason why we don't want filter dryers is because we have enough strainers in the system, and using a filter dryer will just cause more resistance for your gas, for your refrigerant flow. So please keep that in mind as well. And that's your three-zone refrigerant diagram. As you can see, hot gas, high pressure discharge vapor is going to leave the compressor going into your condenser if you're doing cooling, and if you're doing heating, it will go to your indoor unit through your four-way valve, and we are bringing back 100% vapor back to the compressor, and then the cycle repeats. Okay. Pressure-wise, it's not different. There is no much difference between R-32 and R-410A. When you're looking at the suction line, our older R-410 was anywhere from 125 to 135. The new ones, R-32, is almost the same. In heating, however, it's slightly higher. Slightly higher meaning what? If we were reading 425 with 410, 425 PSI with 410, with your R32, you might see around 450, 440 like that, just slightly higher than 410 in heating, not in cooling. That's your wiring diagram. And again, nothing different from the old one, except for additional connection for your base pan heater. Okay, base pan heater. What the factory guys have improved is oil return. As you know, oil is super important for your compressor, to keep your compressor warm, to keep your compressor from burning out. You need oil constantly in your compressor for the windings. So what they have done between the old and the new receiver, they have increased the size of where the oil will return back to the compressor. So as you can see, the design changing point, basically it's the old one had 18.4 cc amount of oil. The new one has 22. Obviously, it has increased. But when it comes to the opening, the old one had 1.4 millimeter opening as compared to the new one, which is 1.8. They have also relocated the reactors. So the old one, the reactor was installed. I'm talking about multi-zone, guys. Okay, not single zone. So switch your mind a little bit. It's all multi-zones now. So basically, the reactor were installed at the very bottom next to the fan motor. As you can see the picture on the left, and the new one, which is on the right hand side, the reactor is just above the compressor. Okay, just above the compressor. They have also changed the motor design, and they have improved the sound levels for this motor. So the old part number started with the EHD, and the new part number now is L6CBYY onwards. So they have improved the fan motor with low RPM noise. As you can see, crankcase heater on the left, that was the old compressor. The new compressor does not have a crankcase heater. Basically, it's going to use the same kind of technology like our single zones. Our single zones basically uses trickling voltage to keep the compressor warm, to keep the compressor, to keep the oil heated up. So basically, we don't have any more crankcase heater on our compressors. The coil, they have significantly redesigned the coil. Basically, the old coil had just one piece. Now we have two pieces, as you can see. Maybe once I'm done with the multi-zones, I can share you some pictures and explain, go through those pictures, what you will see and what you will expect from the new units, the new multi-zone condenser coil and other stuff. There you can see a base pan heater. The old one did not have a base pan heater, and the new one now has the base pan heater. It doesn't look like what you see in the picture. It looks much neater than what you can see there. So basically what you see on the left is the old feature, and what you see on the right is the new feature. Yeah, so basically there was a question about trickling voltage. Trickling voltage is very low voltage. So if you take your multimeter and just turn on the unit, just power the unit, you will hear the compressor humming, like humming very, very low noise, because basically it's moving the rotor, and the trickling voltage is anywhere from 20 to 30 volts AC across UVW. That's why we call it trickling voltage, very, very low voltage. Okay. So as you can see, the features that has been improved between the old multi and the new multi, one of them is just the one on the left. With the old one, you could not do 3 units to put it in quiet mode. The compressor would never go in quiet mode. But with the new models, with the new R-32, you are capable of doing that. So anytime you have any questions regarding the old and the new, please let us know. We will be able to. We are more than happy to answer you. We have improved our defrost. We have improved the defrost cycle. Basically, we have now made 2 sensors to watch the temperature of the coils between the top of the coil and the bottom of the coil. Whichever sensor reads the lowest temperature for more than 3 minutes, we will get our first defrost cycle after 60 minutes. And then our second defrost cycle will only happen after 45 minutes. So if your customer is saying, oh, my unit goes into defrost every half an hour, you are better off going to his house and proving to your customer that no, it's not possible. Our program is always 60 minutes of full continuous operation before it kicks into a defrost cycle, only if required. Otherwise, you may end up running the whole day the unit with no defrost cycle. It all depends on ambient temperature and refrigerant temperature. So as I said before, the screen on the left-hand side, there was only one sensor monitoring the coil temperature. Now we have 2 sensors, and whichever sensor registers the lower temperature of the refrigerant, it's going to bring in the defrost cycle. Here, as you can see, is our electronic expansion valve coil. It's pretty much the same like before. We have 8 pulses before it either opens or it either closes. Okay. When it's fully open, we are at 480 pulses. Okay. When it's fully closed, we are probably at 48 or even less. So keep in mind, guys, this solenoid valve inside is all hard plastic. Nothing is metal there. A little bit of aluminum available. But the biggest issue here is your plastic rotor. You have to be very careful when you're doing brazing. If at all you have to change this valve body for whatever reason down the road, please make sure you have your cold, damp cloth or a towel or something like that to keep it cool, so that the plastic does not melt. And then try your best to use oxyacetylene versus a propane tank. Oxyacetylene is much precise, and it's basically brazing where you need, and nothing out of that area. As you know, if you're using B tank, the flame is kind of all over the place. So I would suggest you to use oxyacetylene tank when you're doing brazing on these tight spots. Yeah, that's good. So there you see the EEV is slightly open, and then as you are asking for more cooling, it opens even furthermore higher, and then here we are probably at max. So keep in mind, guys, this electronic expansion valve talks constantly with the compressor, with the outdoor fan, and a bunch of sensors. Okay, guys? So when the sensor at the indoor unit is asking for more refrigerant, this guy will respond, and obviously the compressor will also increase its frequency. If the compressor is not increasing its frequency, definitely there's something wrong. They are not talking to each other well, and something needs to be figured out. Correct. Stepper motor, yeah. EEV is something similar to a stepper motor. So with our units, we always protect our coils. We always protect our indoor coils from busting. And we have something called H99, which is a protection error, not a malfunction. So please keep that in mind. Our units are pretty strong, are pretty robust. Indoor freeze protection is always constantly monitoring the temperature of the coil. So when the temperature of the coil goes down below 0 degrees, the unit is going to shut off, and it will come back on again. And if it happens 4 times in 1 hour, the unit is going to shut off, lock out, and you will get an H99 error. So please try your best not to use dry mode for more than 2 hours. Dry mode is trying to maintain good humidity in the house. But keep in mind, as Jay said, our units are not dehumidifiers. They are strictly split units targeting set points on your temperature on your remote controller. It does not look for percentages and stuff like that. But keep in mind, guys, dry mode is only good for 2 hours. Don't leave it overnight, because if you leave it overnight, when the temperature drops, humidity drops, the coil gets pretty dry, pretty cool, and it will definitely shut off. And then when you wake up in the morning, you have an error. That's for indoor freeze. We do also have electronic parts temperature rise protection. Cold draft is the same like before. Cold draft prevention, we will talk about that as well, and the other stuff. We don't sell a system checker, guys. We do have it for our own purpose. System checker that we have, Panasonic, you need a laptop. And I know most of our guys, they have laptops, but it can waste some of their time, which I know I use the word waste because people don't like spending time longer at homeowner's house. But it's a good idea sometimes to spend longer hours to get to the bottom of the issue. But currently we do have a system checker, but it's only for Panasonic personnel. Maybe if we need to use it at a job site, we will come. But honestly, I have this system checker for over 4 years now, and very rare I've used it because our units do work well with very minimum issues. But yes, if you need us to come to check a job with you, we can come with our system checker. We can show it to you. We can explain to you how it works and so forth. So as you can see, indoor freeze protection here, we operate usually coil temperature of 7 degrees and above. I'm talking inlet temperature of the coil, indoor coil in cooling, 7 degrees and above. The moment it starts going below 7 degrees, most likely we are low on gas and we need to figure out what the problem is. Anthony, your question regarding buying it, I have to check with the factory guys because these checkers are not for sale. We give the distributors usually, not to contractors. So if you are serious about this checker, we can look out for, we can find out and get back to you. Okay. So electronic parts temperature rise protection was always there from before. Basically, in a nutshell, all it does, it increases the fan speed, outdoor fan speed, when those components are getting a little bit hot, maybe because of poor air circulation, maybe the coil is dirty, maybe the fan is not moving the way it's supposed to, and they get hot. So basically what it does, the outdoor fan will increase its speed and try and get rid of the higher temperatures from each and every component out there. That's what electronic parts temperature rise protection is all about. Cold draft prevention, guys, is when you turn on the unit for the first time in heat mode, the fan will not come on. And after the coil is nice and toasty, like 46 degrees and above, then the fan will be running at full blast. At that point, you can actually lower the fan speed or increase the fan speed or whatever you want to do. But 16 degrees Celsius and below, the fan is off. As soon as the coil temperature gets above 16 degrees, the fan will start very low, and as soon as it goes above 35 degrees, it's going to go to max. And at that part you will be able to control your fan speed. So when homeowners are calling you and saying why I can't control my fan speed and this and that, ask him ask him or her, are they in heat mode? If they say yes, they have no control of fan speed and they have no control of the louvers. Okay, always keep that in mind. No control of fan speed, no control of louvers. And if they argue with you and they say, oh, there's something wrong with that, ask him to switch over to cooling. When you switch over to cooling, you have the control to bump it up or lower it. And if it works in cooling, there is no reason why it should not work in heating. And in most cases, it's because the temperature of the coil was still cold. Okay, so that is what we call a cold draft prevention. Heating overload prevention. This is another protection to take care of the compressor and to detect any indoor units being overheating. You know, sometimes when the indoor coils get very hot, the pressure tends to rise higher and higher, because keep in mind, in heat mode, your indoor units becomes the outdoor unit and your outdoor unit becomes indoor unit. So sometimes when only one unit is running instead of all three or all two or all four or all five, the space area for that little coil, just one indoor unit, is not enough, you know. So it tends to cause high pressure. So in that case, we have a protection as well which is basically H98. Like I mentioned earlier about de-ice or defrost. So basically our first defrost cycle will kick in after 60 minutes. Our second will kick in after 40 to 45 minutes. And it will repeat that cycle off and on, depending on the coil temperature. Okay, so basically our defrost cycle is anywhere from 3 minutes all the way to 10 minutes maximum. So whichever brings the coil temperature to 26 degrees Celsius and above, that will terminate the defrost cycle. And if the compressor, if the coil is having hard time to get rid of the ice and 10 minutes has elapsed, basically the defrost cycle will end. So our defrost cycle is pretty powerful. And if it's not defrosting, there could be something else going on, either low on gas or some kind of a dead circuit or something's happening. You can always give us a call when you have a defrost issue. Pictures and videos needs to come in quickly, and then we can view them, and then accordingly we can discuss about it. Compressor always have a 3-minute delay, useless. A 3-minute delay, and if you're waiting for those 3 minutes, it can be a little bit longer. But technically, if you switch off the unit, bring it back on, it's 3 minutes delay. IPM is the intelligent power module. It's built into the PCB, and basically it's pretty much driving the compressor. And if there's anything wrong with this board, you'll get an error of F90, F96, and those kind of things. Excuse me. F91 with basically with multi-zones it's most likely low on gas. I have a lot of experience with F91 error where the unit was low on gas, no leaks but low on gas. So how the gas disappeared, I don't know, but basically F91 is the #1 error on multi-zones when the system is low on gas. Also, if the system has been running for a while and you don't think the problem is with the refrigerant, then it could be the indoor sensors. Okay, it could be the indoor sensors in cool mode that is giving trouble. So it all depends, guys. Okay, it all depends. This is all protection control that we have with the outdoor unit. Also, we had it with the indoor unit, F94 high pressure. Nothing new with that. Basically, also this valve, if the valve is closed, it can also cause F91. But basically, our units are pretty cool. We don't have much complaints. We do get complaints here and there, but very, very rare. Try it out if you have not installed one, especially I don't know, Christian, who earlier texted us on the helpline. Try it out. You will really, really like it. Service, we have a little card there. We have a little PCB at the outdoor unit. You can do a lot of things with it, like test mode and stuff like that. I'm going to explain to you in the next few slides. And also you can check the error codes depending on what the lights are showing, what they are blinking, orientation is. And then we have SW1, SW4, 5, and 3. I will explain to you all what it does. So this card, you will not see it in our single zones, okay? It's just designed for multi-zones. So don't expect you to open the outdoor unit and say, oh, there's something missing. No, it's only for multi-zones. So SW1, guys, at the very top is pump down. If you want to pump down the system, collect gas, all the gas into the outdoor unit, it's SW1. SW2 is test run. SW3 is wiring. 4 is power save, and 5 is priority mode. Basically, I've worked with test run from the time I have joined Panasonic, and the test run I use is for troubleshooting. test run tells me a lot of things like low on gas, or sensor has gone weak. So basically we put the unit in test run cooling or test run heating, depending on the day, the temperature and the season. And when we put on the test run, we read the running amps. We also check our pressure, if our pressures are good or bad. Never put the unit in heat mode and say, oh, it's heating well, but there is something wrong. The best way to test the equipment and troubleshoot is to put it in cool mode. Even if it's cold outside, it doesn't matter. The easiest way to me, as far as I'm concerned, I like to troubleshoot these units in cooling. It gives me an answer almost less than 10 minutes. So that's the way I use this test run in a multi-zone. Wiring check, please try your best not to use this feature. It can fix your wiring problems, but probably a temporary solution. I don't like it. So when you're done with your wiring and piping connections and flare and release of the gas and everything, and you're ready to run it, run one unit at a time, one indoor unit at a time in cooling, not in heating, in cooling. Make sure it cools well and not just blowing room temperature and another room is freezing. That means you have crossed your wires. So please test multi-zones, one unit at a time in cooling. All right. So they are the LEDs. They will show you different items based on how the unit is operating. So let's say if we put it into pump down mode, we are running the compressor at fixed frequency. All the EEVs are going to be fully open, and we are going to force the units in cool mode. So you really don't need to be inside the house. As long as the unit has power outside, you don't have to worry about inside. Let's say you go to the homeowner's house and you need to move the outdoor unit for whatever reason. You can move it without being those guys being there. Just push the unit into test run cooling and you're good, or pump down. You can do the pump down process before the homeowner comes, or even if they don't want to come, that's fine. Pump it down, collect all the refrigerant into the outdoor unit, close it, move the unit, reinstall it, re-vacuum, pressure test, you name it, and you are up and running again. As you can see, the procedure is the same like any other system to pump it down. Close the liquid line first, the small pipe, and then keep your Allen key ready on the suction line, so that when you're about to get close to zero, you are pretty fast to close the gas line, vapor line, suction line. Test run, guys, for forced cooling, it's the LED 1 and LED 2 will come on. You are in test run cooling. And if you don't want test run cooling, you want test run heating, you have to keep pressing, and the second light will go off and the third light will come on. Okay, so let me show you test run cooling. Press and hold until the second light goes off, and then the 1 and 3 comes on. You're in test run heating. At that moment, you can hook up your gauges before you perform, so that you can see what are your gauges, gauge pressure. You can hook up your running amp meter and stuff like that. Power save function is there. Basically, you're lowering the capacity by 75%. I'm not a big fan of that power save. But again, if you have oversized the outdoor unit, that's fine. You can reduce the capacity by flipping that SW4 power save button on the other side, so it does not run very hard. These heat pumps also are equipped with a jumper, JP1. Basically, if the homeowner says, I'm buying this multi-zone only for cooling, you can chop it off, that piece of wire. Now you are in cool mode only. Priority mode is given to the indoor unit. Sorry. Where is priority mode? Priority mode is given to the indoor unit that you want it to be at full capacity. So let's say you have a 12, 15, and a 9. Basically, if you flip that, you're giving full capacity to the 15. But also, if you want to give full capacity to the 12 or 9, you can do that as well. But basically, priority mode is good. Why? Sometimes in an office application, the boss has got a bigger unit and the other guys got the smaller units. So the other guys come very early. It's still cold outside. They put it in heat mode. And then when the boss comes into his office, or the manager comes into his office, he feels super, super hot. He can take his remote controller and switch over right away to cooling and put the other guys who are in heating on standby. That's what it is about priority mode, okay? Troubleshooting, guys, is the same like before. No error codes have been changed. We have the same error codes from H11 all the way to F99. So we have 2 letters, H as in Henry, F as in Frank, and a bunch of numbers. So please, I would strongly advise you to download the app. The app shows you how to check, how to pull out the error code, how to retrieve the error codes. So please, I strongly advise you to download the app. Panasonic AC Quick Service Guide is all you need to download this app. Please download it if you are serious about Panasonic, because I'll tell you one thing: all the guys in East Coast, West Coast, they are always calling me with a question where we don't start at 0, we start at 10 onwards. So why we started 10 onwards and not at 0 is because they already downloaded the app, they did their homework, and now they're giving us to do our homework. So that's pretty cool. So I would strongly advise you to download this app once again. You help me, I help you. That's how we scratch our backs. So guys, when you're doing a voltage reading, a fluctuation, DC volts reading, I would strongly advise you to use this multimeter pictured here. I get calls day in, day out. Guys are using M-probe. And when they're using M-probe, the algorithm is a little bit different. And you will find out that the voltage reading is not good. And when you tell me over the phone, the voltage I'm getting is this, and then I'm saying, oh, I'm leaning towards the outdoor board, or I'm leaning towards the indoor board and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm giving you a wrong answer. So to help me out, please always invest in this kind of a multimeter. I don't want you to buy Fluke only. I like Fluke. I've been using Fluke for many, many years. So I don't get paid to promote this product, but I like this product. Another good tool is Klein. You can get that as well. But please, when you're doing thermistor reading, sensor reading, coil reading, and buzz voltage fluctuation reading, please use this multimeter. When you're doing AC voltage and amp reading, go ahead and use the amp probe. Okay, feel free to use your amp probe. I know most of the guys have that, so please don't mix the tools when you're doing sudden troubleshooting. Okay. What else? So basically, oh my God. So basically, we have H14 is the indoor sensor, H19 is the indoor fan motor. We do have these error codes once in a while, not much, not many. I can literally count. The ones that I can't count is the H97. It's the outdoor fan, and it happens during winter time. Most of the time when we had a heavy snowfall, the snow goes and blocks the coil. Stops the fan blade, and that's when we get the H97. So please keep that in mind, guys. Every winter we do get calls here, but the calls mostly are coming from Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and those areas where they get a lot of snow as compared to Ontario. We don't get much. Maybe the guy who is in Peterborough might be getting a lot. But H97 is very popular in wintertime. Sorry, Christine, you say I'm going too fast. Which slide do you want me to repeat?
Sorry, I just have never seen any of this before, and I didn't realize that this was going to be such a short form version of the training. Is there a longer training available, or are these books, these slides and books actually available?
So let me go back a little bit about the shorter slides and the longer slides, okay?
Okay.
This time frame is what we have been given by Nordics, because contractors don't want to stay more than 2 hours. They get bored. They get bored and they run away. We do have, Christine, we do have a longer slide training. We try and be in person. At that time, we try and be in person for longer period of time. We take almost 4 to 5 hours. Basically, we start at 9, we ended up at 3 o'clock, like that. We do have hands-on sometimes. We do have hands-on, actually not just sometimes. But this online training, we have been asked maximum 2 hours because most of the guys, they want to rush back to job sites and stuff. And some guys, they fall asleep, to be honest. So Christine,
okay.
we will email you this what we are showing here. We will email you each and every item that you saw on our screen, and even more that I blew through it. So again, as I said, and as I keep repeating, there are slides, you will look at it, you will read it, and may not understand. We are always available 24/7 callers. I mean, not 24/7, but 24. We are almost available almost anytime. Give us a shout, ask us questions, email, whatever you. Ask Nordics. Nordics cannot answer, they will email us. We will get back to you. And
all right, thank you.
And trust me, if you want to get a detailed training, just get in touch with Nordics, and we will set it up another time. Okay.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you.
What's that? And even this what I'm showing you, what I'm showing you right now, a troubleshooting guide, all you will see it on our app. You know the app that I'm talking about, the Panasonic AC Quick Service Guide. It's all there. Trust me, when you call me, when you call me, I already opened the app. So I'm using the same app when I'm helping guys. When we are helping guys, we are using the same app. So that's why I keep insisting, encouraging you guys to use that app. It's pretty straightforward, colorful, very, very easy to follow.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, so indoor high pressure. Keep in mind, guys, anytime indoor unit is throwing a high pressure alarm or a high pressure protection, make sure, I mean, not make sure, but we know definitely you are in heat mode. Because keep in mind, when you are in heat mode, the indoor becomes your high side, your outdoor becomes your low side. So anytime we have H98, we know that it could be a clogged filter, a clogged blower wheel, and stuff like that. Please, I keep begging guys to check with a flashlight the blower wheel. When the blower wheel gets clogged or dirty after 1 year or 2 years, you need to drop that drain pan down, and clean that blower wheel assembly. Otherwise, you will always have problems of high pressure in heating, low pressure in cooling, and probably even freeze protection in cooling. So please keep in mind, including a guy today from New Brunswick. He said he's having these problems intermittently. I said, can you check for me if the coil is dirty, and if the blower wheel is dirty, and if the filters are dirty? And he said everything is clean except I've not checked the blower wheel. I said, okay, stop the unit, take a flashlight and check. And he sent me 3 pictures. It's crazy clogged. It's crazy clogged. So you know what happens when a blower wheel is clogged? Poor airflow. When there's poor airflow across the coil gets so cold in cooling to an extent that it's going to trip on freeze protection. So that's a very, very important item to check, guys, when you're going to do service, when you're going to do cleaning. Blower wheel is so important. So I'm going through these slides, guys, because it shows you what to do when you have issues like that. But basically F11 is a four-way valve. In most cases, if it's an old job, it's an old unit installation, it's the indoor sensors that got messed up. They have gone weak, and they're throwing you an F11 error code. One or two cases I had where the four-way valve coil plug was pulled out. I don't know, during shipping, or I don't know really, but the plug was dangling and they were getting an error code. So Drew was asking, what temperature should we be looking for coming out of the heads on a mild day? Still at 115? What do you mean, Drew, that question? I didn't understand. What do you mean by coming out? What temperature should we be looking for coming out of the heads? Oh, you mean in heat mode? 115 is a bit high. Probably when the unit starts, when it first starts, the outdoor unit pumps almost 140 outside. So we are looking at around 120 inside. But when it stabilizes, probably less than 115, a little bit less than 115. But at the first 10 minutes, you will see, because the compressor is running nuts, like really, really high frequency, we are going to look at probably higher than 115. But once it stabilizes, then definitely below 115. That's a good question, Drew. So four-way valve, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's either a wire got dangling or the indoor sensors. I have yet to replace a four-way valve coil. I have yet to replace a four-way valve body. So it seems like the valve body as well as the valve coils are pretty cool, are pretty strong. Very rare it goes bad. F17 in a multi-zone application, most likely you have crossed unit A to B, B to A, or C, and stuff like that. Okay, so F17 is a unit where one unit is freezing and the other one is just blowing room air. So yes. F90 is the outdoor PCB, main PCB got defective due to bad power. Okay. So yes. So guys, F90 is one error code if you happen to get. Sadly, we lost the main PCB. Just order a new PCB. And as you know, once we are done today, you already qualified for 10 and 10. I would strongly advise Nordics, whoever Nordics is online right now listening, I would strongly advise you after this training, please send me send us all the names who have attended this training to put it in our database for 10 and 10, okay? 10 as in compressor, 10 as in parts. Panasonic does not give labor warranty, so please keep that in mind when you are buying our equipment. There's no labor warranty. It's just 10 years compressor and 10 years parts. So F91, was that F90? Yeah, F91, basically it's low gas pressure. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with multi-zones. There are certain error codes are the same like a single zone, and there are certain error code designed for just multi-zone. For example, H36 is one of the sensors in one of the zones of the outdoor unit, okay? So guys, R32, there was a session in BC that happened this week. Basically, R32 is a very mild flammable refrigerant. You have nothing to worry about. You need 3 items to cause fire. You need 3 items to cause fire. You need almost 9 kilos of refrigerant. Convert that to pounds. It's a lot of refrigerant in one room. Then you need oxygen, and then you need ignition. So for a flame to take place, you need 3 items, and it's almost next to impossible. Keep in mind, guys, Japan, Asian country, and and India, they were using R32 since 2013. Since 2013, nobody heard about gas fires and stuff like that. So having said that, you have to be careful. You have to be in a nice ventilated area to do this job. R32 is very friendly. It is categorized as a mild flammable refrigerant, just like R454A or 454B. But please keep in mind, nothing to worry about. As long as you have an ODP license, as long as you have a refrigeration license and air conditioning, 313D and 313A, gas license is good only for gas appliances, gas as in natural gas and liquid propane. Please don't think that you're holding a G1 or you're holding a G2, so you qualify to install these heat pumps. Okay, please keep in mind, heat pumps are regulated by AHRI, and they need you to hold a 313D or a 313A. So guys, we have seen a lot of issues down the road, especially with the wiring side, a little bit of lack of knowledge. People get upset for no reason. But again, please always respect and obey the laws and obviously the regulation. Respect the trade, and the trade will definitely respect you. So this brings us to the end of our multi-zones, guys. I would like to show you pictures. Is there any pictures? I would like to share some pictures, guys. That we installed some units at our facility, and I'm talking about R32 system. Yeah. So so what you can see, guys. Okay, can anyone see what they can see?
We see the new remote controller.
Okay. Okay, so the new remote controller, guys, as you can see, we have added a feature called fireplace, and Jay mentioned to you what does that mean. That means that fireplace is good if you have a fireplace and an air conditioning, a split unit in the same room. If you put it in fireplace, what's going to happen is when the room temperature has reached set temperature, the compressor outside is going to shut off, but the fan will keep running. Way back when, with the old models, the unit would just go to sleep, and there will be poor air circulation, uneven room temperature, and stuff like that. So what we did, we've asked the factory to include this fireplace feature, and now we have that. So please keep in mind, if you're installing a unit next to a fireplace, make sure the homeowner uses that fireplace option when it comes to winter. Also, we have another mode called RFP. RFP is not a new feature, it's an old feature. RFP stands for room freeze protection. Basically, you keep the room at 10 degrees Celsius, and when the room goes below 10 degrees to 8 degrees, the compressor kicks in, it heats up the place to 10 degrees. So that's a very good feature if you have a garage that you want to keep it at 10 degrees, or if you have a cottage that you would like to keep it at 10, because 18 degrees Celsius, it's pretty power consumption. I mean, you consume a lot of power when you want to leave the house at 18 degrees when there's nobody living in the house. So why not use this RFP mode? And it's pretty cool. We have a lot of guys in Quebec, in Newfoundland, and in Nova Scotia that has cottages, and they keep that at RFP mode. They keep it in RFP mode. And some guys here in Ontario, they leave their garage. When they install these units in their garage, wintertime, they leave it at 8 degrees. I mean, sorry, at 10 degrees, and they leave it in RFP mode. Then what I was going to show you now, Christine, it might be new for you, but maybe not new with the air conditioning industry. But a lot of people were complaining about how to get access to our PCB. So they changed the design of how to access the PCB, and trust me, it's pretty easy. Like less than 5 seconds, you have access to the PCB. Before, it would take the guy so long, so frustrating, that he would call us, and once he calls us, and he has lost his mind. So again, they've improved the access, and it's pretty straightforward. Also, what they have improved is one opening. Before, there was a border, and there were 2 openings to shove in your wire, and that was unnecessarily waste of time, pushing the wire and knocking the borders and stuff. So now we don't have any more borders. It's a straight line. You shove it into the pipe there, into that connector, and it comes straight up and do your connections. So that also, they have been improved. The coil sensor, the top sensor there is your pipe in, and the bottom there is pipe out. Pipe out was somewhere in the middle. Now they have moved it to at the very bottom. The ambient sensor is the same, in the same location. So we are hoping for something good and something better to take place come this winter, when all these units are out and about. As you can see, that orange piece there, that is to rest the unit on the wall, so that you can do your pipe connection, wiring connection, insulation of the pipe connections after you're done with the flaring and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Also, what they have done, they have increased the pipe length. Okay, they have increased the pipe length. Before, it used to end somewhere here, around 14 inches. Now they've gone all the way to 24, almost double the length. And that makes guys who are exiting from the right, their life has become way easier in terms of flaring connections and accessibility. So that is a big plus point there, where they increase the pipe length. And when I was talking to you about the coil, the condenser coil for the outdoor unit, that's the little coil that they've added for capacity. And that's why these units now can go down to -26 as opposed to -21, the older models. And also good capacity at -15. So as you can see in our specs, you're getting almost 22,000 BTUs at -15 on a 3-zone. That's a lot of BTUs. So again, thanks to the additional layer of that coil. As Jay mentioned to you, due to regulations now, CSA, Intertech, HRI have asked that we use red what do you call it? Threaded caps versus brass nuts. So the brass nuts are gone, and you will see the red ones in most of these R-32 units. That's the look of our multi-zone. That's a three zone. Over at the bottom there, you see our base pan heater, additional coil. Everything looks the same. But at the very bottom here, there used to be a reactor, a bunch of reactors. No more. They are now somewhere there. Okay. So that is the improvement. And the old multi-zones did have a netting, a black netting that has gone, and there is no more netting, which means during the frost cycle, there will be no holdups of any ice or any any frost. So it will flow very well bottom to the bottom of the unit, the base of the unit, and with the help of the base pan heater, everything will be melted and everything will flow out easily. That's your base pan heater. Once it's finished, it looks like that. Also, they have increased the rows of the indoor coils to make it more efficient. As you can see on the right hand side is our old 2-row coil versus our new 3-row coil. Okay, so that's the difference. And as Jay mentioned, everything has been moved to the right. So basically you have your NanoX generator on the right, your Wi-Fi on the right, versus the older models that had NanoX generator and Wi-Fi module on the left. That's your connection for your 1, 2, 3. And as you can see on the right hand side, that's your humidity sensor. So basically there is a PCB here. There is a PCB, we call it a display PCB. If this goes bad for whatever reason, and you find out that you're using dry mode, but the humidity is not getting controlled well, you are going to change only this PCB, okay? It's called a receiver card PCB or display card PCB. It's up to you, whatever you want to call it. That brings us to the end of our training session today. Christine, if you need a longer version, we can always set up a date with Nordics. Probably, maybe not this year, maybe next year, early next year. But it's doable. But again, what we spoke is basically additional, added features, wiring, power supply, algorithm, everything remains the same, almost the same. So there's nothing new between the old and the new models, except for few additional features, obviously, which the main feature being the refrigerant. Any more question, guys? You want to turn on your video right now? This is the time to turn on your video. Hamid, any question? You turn on your video first. Your audio is off. Your audio is off. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was great.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
So this, if you're not seen the handsome Jay.
Hey,
Jay.
I talked to you yesterday.
And then Mr. Andre there, even more handsome. I'm the ugly one, you know, as you can see me. So, so guys, Glenn, Christian, that's good. You guys have turned on your video so that we can get to know each other. So this is the time for you to talk now. This is the time for you to speak. This is your time now. You guys are on mute. You guys are on mute. Any question? My team?
No, actually, my name is Ken.
Ken, oh, sorry.
Ken, huh? Yeah, I use my wife's laptops.
Even I use everything of my wife, so that's okay.
Actually, I have a question. So for the multi-zone unit,
yes.
If it is a 2 different room, can the heating and how do we manage the heating and cooling?
You can't do cooling and heating at the same time. If you want to do cooling and heating at the same time simultaneously, then you need to get a VRF system. Okay, so not the same time, but so that one can turn on heating and one can turn on cooling. But yes, see whoever the condition needs, then it will come on first, right? So basically, whichever unit you turn on first, the compressor is going to take that command. Right. So if you turn on first cooling, the unit is going to run in cooling. If you turn on the other unit in heating, it's going to be on standby. It's going to be on standby
I
until cooling is satisfied. Then it switches over.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Ken, which company you work for? Or you own your own company?
I work for Ken's Heating and Cooling.
Oh, that's your own company then.
Yeah.
Where about, Ken?
I'm in Georgetown.
Oh, in Georgetown?
Yeah.
What do you do mostly? What units, brands you install mostly?
I do mostly I do black decks, I do King Home, I do Gree, I do Media, you know, the Media and Kepler.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Any more question, guys? Try installing our units, Ken.
Yeah. Okay.
Try. There's no harm in trying. And
who do I
you will
talk
see.
to? Just the Nordic order desk if I want
Yes,
to get a new.
Yes, talk to Nordics. Nordics is here online right now. You can talk to them. And
Ken, it's Dave from Nordics. How are you? Ken?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Dave from Nordics. You can just reach out to us and we'll help you with everything on here.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks, Dave.
Daniel, or just call the office or whoever. We'll help you out.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
hey, Drew, is this the same Drew from Boiler Shop or is a new Drew?
I just put the Nordics number into the chat box if someone wants to reach out.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm from the boiler shop. We talked a couple times. I had to change that board and PCB board in Hamilton the one time.
What about?
You have to change the board. We couldn't figure out what it was. We had to change the soundboard as well. Trying to figure what date it was. I think it was maybe.
Which company, Drew, you work for?
Convertible.
Ah, convertible. Yeah, okay. You had a problem in Hamilton area or somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the problem first you received was a wrong board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. That was your first unit that gave you trouble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, things happen. That's why I pointed out about the F90. You know, the F90 is what you received.
Yeah.
If you remember well, you had an F90 error code. Anyway, I'm glad everything got sorted out.
What sucked about that one is too is that it was up in the air, like 8.
Yeah, I don't know why people put it so high, man. They don't have mercy for service guys.
It's a pain in the butt.
I know they don't feel sorry for the service guys. You know, they just. Anything else, guys? Before we go for
Jay.
Yes.
So did anyone install the unit with the new refrigerant, the R-32, right?
It's not yet available at this moment.
It's not
but
available.
it will come out very soon, yes.
In China, they start using it, but I heard that those the new refrigerant is easy combustible.
No.
No?
It's very mild flammable.
It will just the same like the R410?
No, it's not the same.
No, I mean the same.
R410 is not combustible, but R32 is combustible.
Is
but
a
the problem
combustible.
is, as Paulo said, to get you need 3 conditions to get a flame. First of all, in a room you need at least 9 kilo. So it's about 18 pounds of refrigerant. Plus you need good air, oxygen, and then you need the flame to ignite.
Yeah, of course.
All those 3 recombined, then only you can have a flammable things, which almost never happens. And if you are working outdoor, it's almost out of question because the air is circulating everywhere. So there's no issue.
Okay.
So far, we have never heard about an explosion or whatever.
Yeah, they have an accident in China and somewhere like and they start investigate and see whether it's the cause of that refrigerant to to explode. So
No, but as Paulo said, this is being used since 2013 in many countries and even in Europe.
okay.
Yes, there is no issue. Otherwise,
All
they
right.
would have heard. Otherwise, they would have removed this product.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, no problem. Anyone else would like to ask any question? No, nobody. So
Can you hear me?
yes, now we can hear you, Ralph.
Yeah, just one question.
Sure.
In the refrigeration end of it, the R290 and the 600, you don't need a recovery unit. You don't need a recovery unit for the 32, right? When you're working on the 32?
The R-32?
Yeah.
You recovery unit? What do you mean by a recovery unit?
Like when it comes time to do service on the R22 or
Yes.
R32, you don't need a recovery unit. You just vent it, right?
No.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, I was just verifying that.
Mhm.
What do you mean? Sorry.
What? I don't understand that. I mean,
Well, if you ever have to empty the system, you don't need to recover it, right?
you just blow it out in the air?
You just release it to the atmosphere, right?
No, you got to recover it. You got to recover all this.
Sorry about. Yes, I didn't
Oh, you
understand.
do have to recover it.
Yeah,
Every refrigerant should be recovered. There is no.
Okay.
It's not only this one. It's any refrigerant. You never blow in the air any refrigerant.
I was gonna say,
By law, you have to recover everything. But I mean, whenever you have something to change, you can still pump down. That's why I was confused about your question, but you can pump down into the main unit, the outdoor unit, and then change the outdoor unit. You don't need specifically to remove the refrigerant. There is a pump down.
Okay.
Yes, available. Yes.
Okay,
So
that's
that means
fine.
you are keeping the refrigerant stored in the outdoor unit before removing any other things, any outdoor, any indoor unit or something like that. Yeah.
Right. No, that's fine. I just wanted to verify that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Good seminar. Thank you very much.
No problem. You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, so we will conclude this training session if there is no question.
Oh, so like from a selling point to a customer, like what type of temperature could I say it would be able to keep up to? Like, in order to run till -26 or whatever, but it won't actually like heat your home. So like, what would I say? Like -12?
Well, every model has got a COP values, heating capacity values, and all that at various temperatures. So anytime you are selling a product, if you refer to those pages, you will see exactly at what temperature the unit is going to give out. So like I mentioned earlier, with the multi-zone at -15 on a 3-zone, you got 22,000 BTUs. That doesn't mean that on a 12,000, 9,000, 15, you'll get the same. They all differ, and basically nobody uses heat pumps as a source of heat for the whole year. That they will always have a baseboard heater, or they will always have a furnace, or they will have a boiler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that case, I don't like running heat pumps at the moment. At the moment, gas is more cheaper than heat pumps, electricity in Ontario, especially when you have natural gas. But if you have no natural gas, you have liquid propane or baseboard heaters, then heat pump is way cheaper. So I would, if I'm in Ontario and in town, I have natural gas, probably I would shut it off at maybe -5, -10. I will not allow it to run all the way down to -30 and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. Okay, but just I was just saying, because like I noticed, we'll say it can run to a certain point, but a lot of times it falls a little bit short.
Like I have a friend in Minden, Ontario. It gets very cold up north, Minden, and the guy is using a 5-zone, our multi-zone 5-zone, and he's using it throughout the year, simply because for the past 3-4 years now, our winters are not that severe, you know. Oops. So if your customer is looking for actual data, everything is available in our service manual. But again, keep in mind, the lower the temperature, the lower the capacity. Okay, guys, all good? Nordics?
Yeah, that should just about cover it. Very
Good
good,
to
guys.
go?
Yeah, thanks so much, Paul. Jay, Andre,
Yes.
you guys were great. Very good session, a lot of good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think we can wrap it up. If anybody else wants to mention anything, now would be the time.
I just want to mention this afternoon session is tough, man. I was yawning all the time, man.
Yeah, I came back from lunch just before, so I know how you feel.
And imagine you're not talking, you're just sitting.
Yeah.
And I'm driving the car and I'm feeling sleepy. Can you imagine?
That's you on a good day.
I'll throw you all in the beach. Anyway, take care, Dave and Dan.
Yeah, everyone, thanks so much. Thanks for attending, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.